Cultural heritage, your secret weapon in a world that demands conformity. Welcome to a conversation that will challenge everything you've been told about success, authenticity, and power. Today, I'm sharing profound insights from my transformative interview with Taali Munjiyah, a visionary who has been shattering glass ceilings and rebuilding them with mosaics that reflect our true cultural identities. Taali isn't just a thought leader, she's a revolution in human form. Her work has empowered thousands of Black professionals and entrepreneurs to stop hiding their cultural heritage and instead leverage it as their greatest competitive advantage. She's been fearlessly challenging systems that demand conformity, creating pathways where there were walls, and proving that authenticity isn't just a buzzword. It's the foundation of true innovation and lasting impact. I want you to pause for a moment. Think about all the times you've been told, explicitly or implicitly, to tone it down, to be less ethnic, to code switch, to assimilate, to leave your cultural identity at the door if you want to succeed in mainstream spaces. Now, I want you to consider a radical possibility. What if everything you've been taught about success is fundamentally wrong? What if the very aspects of yourself that you've been taught to minimize are actually your greatest source of power? This is the revolutionary insight Tali Munjia shared with me that I believe will transform how you approach your professional journey. The path to success isn't about overcoming your cultural identity. It's about embracing it as your unique advantage in a world drowning in sameness. We've been sold a dangerous lie that success requires conformity, that to reach the highest levels of achievement, we must sand down our edges, neutralize our cultural expressions, and fit neatly into boxes created by systems that were never designed with us in mind. But here's the truth that Tali illuminated. When you suppress your cultural identity, you're not just denying yourself, you're denying the world the innovation, perspective, and brilliance that only you can offer. Let me share three profound insights from our conversation that completely shifted my understanding of how cultural heritage fuels success. First, embracing authenticity isn't just about personal fulfillment, it's about competitive advantage. When you lean fully into your cultural background rather than conforming to mainstream expectations, you bring perspectives to the table that others simply cannot replicate. Your cultural lens becomes your superpower. Second, continuous learning and adaptation must be rooted in cultural wisdom. Success requires growth and evolution, yes, but not at the expense of your heritage. The most powerful innovation happens when you combine ancestral knowledge with cutting edge approaches. Third, community empowerment creates exponential impact. When you build networks that uplift others who share your cultural background, you don't just advance individually, you transform entire ecosystems. Your success becomes a catalyst for collective elevation. These principles might sound abstract, so let me ground them in powerful stories that Tali shared during our conversation. Consider Chef Manish Mehrotra of Indian Accent Restaurant. When he began his culinary journey, the global perception of Indian cuisine was painfully limited. Heavy curries, predictable flavors, nothing that would ever earn Michelin recognition. Chef Mehrotra faced immense pressure to abandon traditional Indian cooking techniques to appeal to Western palates. Investors advised him to water down flavors, eliminate unfamiliar ingredients, and essentially create a sanitized version of his cultural cuisine. But Chef Mehrotra made a revolutionary choice. Instead of rejecting his heritage, he doubled down on it. He delved deeper into regional Indian cooking techniques that had been overlooked even within India. He studied ancient texts about indigenous ingredients. He honored traditional methods while bringing contemporary presentation and unexpected combinations. The culinary establishment laughed, critics doubted, investors worried. But what happened? Indian Accent became the number one restaurant in India. It earned international acclaim and completely transformed global perceptions of what Indian cuisine could be. Chef Marotra didn't succeed despite his cultural heritage. He succeeded precisely because he refused to abandon it. This story isn't just about food, it's about the profound power of cultural authenticity. How many of us have been told that our cultural expressions are too ethnic for professional spaces? How often have we been advised to neutralize our language, appearance, or ideas to be taken seriously? Chef Marotra's journey proves that conformity doesn't lead to excellence, it leads to mediocrity. True innovation emerges when we have the courage to bring our full cultural selves to our work. Taali also shared the remarkable story of Sushmita Sen, the first Indian woman to win Miss Universe in 1994. After her historic win, Sushmita faced relentless pressure to conform to narrow stereotypes in the Indian film industry. She could have easily accepted typecast roles that reinforced limiting narratives about women. Instead, Sushmita made the radical choice to only accept roles that challenged stereotypes. She portrayed complex, independent women when the industry preferred docile heroines. She spoke openly about women's empowerment when silence was expected. She lived authentically when conformity would have been far easier. The result? Sushmita won major awards, including the prestigious Filmfare Award. More importantly, she fundamentally shifted perceptions about women's roles in Indian media and inspired a generation of women to defy expectations. Sushmita didn't succeed by playing it safe. She succeeded by bringing her authentic values and cultural perspective to an industry that desperately needed transformation. This resonates deeply with what so many Black professionals experience. We're often caught between contradictory expectations: to be confident but not threatening, to be articulate but not too educated, to be exceptional but not intimidating. Sushmita's journey reminds us that authenticity isn't just personally fulfilling, it's revolutionary. The third example Tali shared particularly moved me. The Techstars Startup Week in Maldives Women's Edition brought together women entrepreneurs in a region where female business leadership was rare. These women faced formidable barriers, limited access to capital, restrictive cultural expectations, and virtually no female mentors. Rather than accepting these limitations, the organizers created something revolutionary: a space that centered women's experiences and cultural perspectives. They didn't just replicate standard entrepreneurship programs, they reimagined them through a lens that honored local culture while challenging gender barriers. The results were extraordinary. Multiple women led startups launched that addressed uniquely local needs. Participants gained confidence and skills that transformed their professional trajectories. Most importantly, the event catalyzed a cultural shift in perceptions about women's capabilities in business. This example illuminates the power of community empowerment. When we create space that honor cultural identity while fostering growth, we don't just help individuals, we transform entire ecosystems. These stories reveal a profound truth. Your cultural heritage isn't something to overcome. It's the foundation upon which your unique contribution to the world must be built. For too long, we've been taught that success requires conformity, that we must choose between our cultural identity and professional achievement. That assimilation is the price of admission to spaces of power. But what if the exact opposite is true? What if your cultural perspective is precisely what the world most desperately needs? What if the aspects of yourself that you've been taught to hide are actually your greatest gifts? This isn't just about professional success, it's about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that when you bring your whole self to your work cultural heritage, lived experiences, unique perspective, you don't just succeed individually, You transform what success looks like for everyone who comes after you. So I challenge you today, stop hiding, stop conforming, stop believing the lie that your cultural identity is a liability. Instead, ask yourself, how can I use my unique cultural experiences as a source of innovation? What wisdom from my heritage offers solutions that others haven't considered? Who in my community can I uplift as I rise? The world doesn't need more conformity. It doesn't need more people who fit neatly into systems that were built to exclude. It needs your authentic voice, your cultural perspective, your revolutionary presence. Your heritage isn't holding you back. It's your secret weapon in a world drowning in sameness. Embrace it, leverage it, transform with it. Because when you have the courage to bring your full cultural self to everything you do, you don't just change your life, you change the world. Thank you.